Earlier in this broadcast, we told you about Republican Congressman Mike Coffman of Colorado. Coffman told a group of conservatives at a fundraiser that he didn't believe President Obama is an American at heart.
I don't know whether Barack Obama was born in the United States or not. I don't know that. But I do know this, that in his heart, he's not an American. He's just not an American.
Coffman then issued a statement claiming he misspoke. But when asked to elaborate, Coffman refused, not once, not twice, but 5 times, repeating this weak response.
I stand by my statement that I misspoke and I apologize.
I am joined tonight on our panel, Chris Kafinas, Crystal Ball, and Steve Deace. Great to have all of you with us.
Thanks,
Chris, let me ask you first. How big a deal is this that the Democrats need to keep coming out and responding to this, or they just ignore it? What's the best way to go?
Well, ironically, I don't think obviously the president or the White House should respond to it because he's too crazy to deserve a response. But in terms of like Democrats or the grassroots, absolutely they should respond to it. I mean, here's the fundamental problem. Aside from it being absolutely crazy, it's just this anger and hatred towards the president. And the part that apparently these folks just don't want to comprehend or accept is the president is likable. The president is a person that the American people like and believe in, and so the notion that somehow you're going to question his American bona fides or that he wasn't born here, I mean, it's this tinfoil brigade that doesn't even pass the laugh test. But I mean, I think you should respond to it. I think you should hit it back and hit it back hard.
Crystal, what's this say about Republicans?
Well, I don't know how much more evidence we have to have that there is a racial component to this. I mean, ever since the president was elected, and even before that, you've had these crazy chainmails going out. You've had all of these efforts, including birtherism, to paint him as the other. You have the Ricketts plan to defeat Barack Hussein Obama, which is in search of an articulate black man to make the case and to launch racially based attacks based on Reverend Wright.
Oh, it's
a pattern. I don't know how long we have to pretend that race is not a major component in this campaign.
It is the Republican Party. It's not the Tea Party wing. It's not the radicals. It is the Republican Party. For instance, in the state of Iowa, they wanted to put it on the state platform. The birther issue. Steve Deace, you broadcast from Iowa. Have the Republicans in your state reached out to Mitt Romney for proof that he is a natural-born citizen?
I'm not sure many Republicans in Iowa want to reach out to Mitt Romney for anything, Ed. He's not very popular in our state with a lot of the conservative grassroots, which is one of the reasons why when we had our caucuses, he stayed away quite a bit. So, in fact, if anything, I think a lot of Iowa Republicans would just prefer they take on Obama by themselves without any help from Mitt Romney.
But why is the birther issue, why is this conversation even taking place in the middle of the country?
I think it takes place for the same reason that a decade ago on the other side of the aisle we were having conversations about Bush lied and people died and Bush wanted to go to war in Iraq to get revenge for the attempt on his dad.
Well, that was on tape.
I think what happens is when you have a clash of worldviews that is as stark as what we have right now in America, a house divided against itself, it lends itself to a lot of distrust.
Steve, this is not a worldview.
And that kind of distrust lends itself to stuff like this.
Steve, respectfully, these are facts. There are facts that back up that President Obama is an American citizen. He loves the country. He was born. He has got all the documentation. Why is this an issue? Crystal, you can see just from his answers that this is where they are.
Well, that's absolutely right. I mean, this is nothing like the situation with Bush. No one was questioning whether he was constitutionally eligible to be president, okay, which is what is going on here. It's a totally different level. And to say that Mitt Romney's not popular in Iowa or that this is not the mainstream, Mitt Romney won the Iowa caucuses with Rick Santorum. They basically tied. So the problem here is that the Republican Party engaged in a short-term strategy in 2010 to ride the hatred and the anger of the far-right Tea Party. And what has happened now is they have completely consumed the entire Republican Party.
Well, I mean, when you have a state party talking about putting it on the platform, how much more radical can you get? I mean, they do not want to accept this president. All right,
well, and we had, in Virginia, in my home state, we had one of the local county parties send out an email calling for armed revolution if the president is reelected. That's the Republican Party machinery sending out that sort of hateful, violent message.
Ed, I think, one key point to keep in mind, when was the last time, the last president, that anyone questioned whether they were an American? I mean, it's really that simple. And so that you have fringes within the Republican Party that are saying this, I think just, you know, it just sends it puts a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth, and it's just so counterproductive. It's just the worst type of politics.
Why aren't the Democrats asking for Mitt Romney's birth certificate? I mean, his dad was born in Mexico. I mean, how do we know?
You know why? Because
Here's what
we
I think.
don't. Why play in that gutter?
Go ahead, Steve.
I think if unemployment was at 5%, I think if the president had lived up to his campaign promises on turning the economy around, we probably wouldn't be talking about this issue right now. But when you've got to run on the president's economic record, you've got to change the subject to stuff like this.
Well, not really. He's got 26 months of private sector job growth. He saved the automobile industry, and he's added 4 million jobs. I mean, the guy's not Superman. He's just president of the United States, and those are 3 facts right there that have changed the dynamic.
Ed, there must be a lot of stupid people. There must be a lot of stupid people then, Ed, in your own NBC News poll, because if you look at the crosstabs on the economy in your own poll that came out yesterday, it doesn't appear that they see things the same way you do, which is why the Democratic strategist quoted in the story said at best he's going to have a 50-50 chance of re-election.
He has added 4 million jobs. He has saved millions of jobs because of the turnaround of the automobile industry and 26 months of private sector job growth. Those are 3 facts right there, whether it's polled or not.
Well, the fact of the matter is, with those polls, you want to talk about birtherism. Your party in Iowa wants to put birtherism on the platform instead of talk about creating jobs.
Yeah,
I'm out of time.
We're not the ones that put that out there.
And what cracks me up is it's considered radical.
Great to have you with us tonight. Great to have you here. We'll have you back to talk about it. I gave the facts tonight. No question about that.